What's up? A to Z Sports Live post-game show as the Bengals come back to Nashville and win again. Joe Burrow now 3-0 against Mike Vrabel and the Titans over the last 3 years. And what a anticlimactic, frustrating way for the Titans to officially lose that game. We'll break it down here. Titan post-game show. Austin Stanley and Zach Bingham streaming live on A to Z Sports Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also, links segment by segment here throughout the post-game show on our Twitter timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok as well, reacting to it all. A lot of people flooding the comments, and we'll get to your comments here shortly. But I do want to thank all of our Titan Game Day Live sponsors. This is the Barton Insurance Group post-game show. Barton Insurance is Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal, home, and auto coverage and small to mid-sized businesses. Check them out at BartonInsuranceGroupLLC.com. Also appreciate Mr. Goodroof, your locally owned roofing, gutters, and window specialist. Buddy Allen Carpet One, giving you free in-home measures and estimates. Crumble Cookies, download the Crumble Cookie app today. Download that app and get yourself a gift card for the holiday season. And, of course, BetMGM with our code ATOZ Sports. Get a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. Zach, a lot of frustrated Titans fans, deservingly so, as Kevin Strong correctly penalized at the end. Because I do see this, Kyle says refs win. No, Kyle, that's Kevin Strong.
No, Titans lose. Wrong.
And that's Kevin Strong doing something very stupid, something that you cannot do on field goal attempts, which is make any type of contact with the snapper as their head is down to protect the neck there. So Kevin Strong was penalized there, 97 for the Titans. So, Zach, I'll let you kind of take it from there. Not good at all. There was a potential opportunity to be had, but it was wasted by a boneheaded penalty there by the Titans.
Yeah, and I will be, hindsight's 2020. I thought 4th and 5 they were going to go for it. I thought they should have gone for it. They ended up getting 3 points, so it wasn't a missed opportunity and pulled themselves within scoring range. But I thought that was a drive where they had enough momentum, and it wasn't 4th and long, or it was 4th and manageable. They like to kick the field goal, but what that did was it gave the ball back to the Cincinnati Bengals, and there was a lot of time left, right? But if you don't get that 4th down, they still have got to drive down the field. You're still in the same scenario that you end up in, and that is you're down 7, and the only way you're going to go down there is tie the game or go for a 2-point conversion and maybe win it in some crazy fashion. But it's disappointing. This loss goes on something that Mike Vrabel preaches: don't do dumb stuff that hurts the football team. And at the end of the game, Tennessee Titans Kevin Strong Jr. goes in there and does dumb stuff to hurt the football team. Austin, we all know this. You cannot bowl over the long snapper. He has the protection. You cannot jump over him. They've tried that, right? There's a rule against that. This is taught in training camp because special teams is so crucial to football, and especially to NFL football because the games are so close. But Kevin Strong Jr. completely nixes the Titans' opportunity to mount a drive where offensively they played better than they did at the beginning of the season because of the emergence of some of their offensive weapons. Mm-hmm. Now, Derrick Henry didn't get going, but man, completely deflating to see it end the way that it does. And Joe Burrow beats the Tennessee Titans once again.
Yeah, it's, I'm trying to find the right words to describe what and how the game ended with Kevin Strong's penalty there, because there is 0 point to try to block that field goal from the interior right there. I just think it's not worth it. In that situation, the Titans defense did what they were asked to do. Don't give up a touchdown. Do not give up a touchdown to the Bengals offense, and everything's okay. And the Titans did that. Jeffrey Simmons, a big tackle on 3rd down there to set up a field goal. Once you get to that spot, live to play another down. Allow the game to extend. It's kind of some things where and some coaches, I saw Brian Kelly at LSU last night, go for 2 on a 2-point conversion too early that ended the game. Extend the game. And by the Bengals making a field goal there, the game extends. But by Kevin Strong doing something stupid that I know that he's been taught, because you could read Mike Vrabel's lips and his facial expression.
He knew the game was over.
He had his hand right up there. He was trying to cover his lips. We all knew what Mike Vrabel said. And that ends the game, right? The game is over. Now, who knows what the Titans offense could have, would have, might have been able to do down 7 points with under 2 minutes to go and no timeouts to go get a touchdown. But at least you have an opportunity to see what happens on the field. You allow it to play out on the field. And Kevin Strong, by making a really bad mistake, cost his team at least an opportunity.
Well, and that's, you look at it, I mean, it's singular. He was the person to blame. You talk about, like, you play the blame game. You cannot do that in any, whether you're the superstar of the team or you're a practice squad player that was elevated. It doesn't matter. You have to know the rules, so you give your offense an opportunity to go down there and try to make, a number of plays to tie the football game. And that was ripped from them because of a bonehead play, a bonehead mistake that every special teams player knows. I mean, you cannot bowl over the long snapper, and that happened. So that's unfortunate. Austin, I do want to ask you this question.
Okay.
What did you think on 4th and 5? I said, look, I would have gone for it. Your offense is not elite. You don't just, drive down at will all the time. And you're now in scoring range. You're 4th and 5 because you were 3rd and long and the Bengals defense played back. You got enough to get into a 4th and 5 situation. Were you okay with the field goal, or did you want them to go for it?
I was, and I tweeted this out, I was okay with the field goal. Like, again, that is a conversation and a decision that I see both sides. And to be honest, it was a fine decision. That at that point, there were 6 minutes left in the game. And to kick a field goal to at least get you in a spot to be there, I was totally fine with that. No problem with that. The problem that I had is, what was it? 4th and what, Zach?
5.
4th and 5. The problem was the 2nd and 10 play call that lost you 5 yards to then have to throw a quick pass on 3rd and 15 to get into a better field goal range. That was the problem. The terrible play design of a Derrick Henry, like jet sweep motion screen to Dontrell again. And I don't want to get into
multiple options on that play. It was an option play. And
yes.
The problem is that it didn't maturate as quick as it needed to. And that's why they got offensive linemen downfield.
But I'm going to bring up an example. We've seen this now twice. The Tennessee Titans offense in a situation where they cannot afford to lose yards, right? Today, in 2nd and 10, right there, just don't call a play to lose yards. And then Sunday Night Football, when they were like 3 or 4 yards away from a field goal attempt to make it a 2-score game, the Titans lost yards on both of those plays that put them behind the 8 ball. And guess what? Both examples are the last 2 Titans losses since the 2nd week of the season. Like, there's a correlation to a bad decision, a bad play call to lose yards in a spot where you can't afford to, and then you lost the game.
Yeah.
So again, like kicking the field goal on 4th and 5, I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't disagree with going for it. I don't disagree with kicking a field goal. I think that's fine. But you can't afford to put your offense and have your offense put your defense in bad situations, and the Titans do that time and time again.
Well, the Titans now moved to 7 and 4. The Bengals now moved to 7 and 4. And here's the impact, and we're going to get to one word here, presented by Barton Insurance Group, who's the title sponsor of this postgame show. But you're now in a situation, Austin, where you don't have the tiebreak over the Bills, you don't have the tiebreak over the Chiefs, and you don't have the tiebreak over the Bengals. And you don't play the Baltimore Ravens or the Dolphins. So the 3 teams that are going to be up there, you're sitting there and you haven't done yourself any favors for losing to those teams. Those are quality opponents. Not saying that some of the other wins that they have are not as quality, but those are good football teams. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals are good. They lost all 3. And so I do think that it is a little bit telling overall as you sit here at 7-4. You're no longer 7-3 and just kind of cruising along. You have the Philadelphia Eagles still to play. You got the Chargers that are going to fight nail and because look, the Chargers and the Bengals are going to battle this out for a wild card spot. So that Chargers team probably going to be ready, and they play Arizona today. And then you got the Cowboys at the end of the season, which they're playing really good football. So notoriously this season, the Titans versus big-time players in this league, they have not shown up and won those games.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, A to Z Sports here live on our Barton Insurance post-game show. Zach, we're going to ask everybody here, what is one word to describe this Titans loss to the Bengals? What is one word to describe this Titans loss to the Bengals? We'll get to the chat here in a second, but Zach, tell everybody about the Barton Insurance Group.
Yeah, they are the title sponsor of this post-game show. We love Barton Insurance Group because A to Z Sports, they get their insurance. We get our insurance through Barton Insurance Group. I personally get my insurance through Barton Insurance Group, and that's provided by Erie Insurance. They've got great deals, and here's the best part. They are local. Unlike most insurance agencies, Barton Insurance Group is 100% locally owned right here in the middle of Tennessee. You can pick up the phone and call Adam or Brian right now or Monday morning, 615-806-1265. And they're locally independently owned. And the best part is they've got dozens of insurance companies that they work with, but Erie is special. Look, I have Erie Insurance, and Barton Insurance Group covers A to Z Sports. If you're looking to change your insurance coverage, make sure you go to BartonInsuranceGroupLLC.com or give them a call, 615-806-1265.
All right, so one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Bengals, and it looks like the Ravens just fumbled the ball back to the Jags. And now the Jags have an opportunity in field goal range to win that game after scoring a touchdown. So one word to describe how you feel about the Titans' loss to the Bengals today. Unfortunately, this is the first comment I see. Rigged. Ben, how is that rigged? It's not rigged. It was the correct call there. So, Ben, get out of your feelings there or stay in them, whatever. But that's a ridiculous comment there. Not rigged. It was the correct penalty call. AB in Texas says pathetic. Denise says unprepared. Let's see. More comments from you guys. There's a lot of cuss words I'm trying to jump over. Gladiator says finished. Bradley says typical. Randy says trash. Vasco says hurtful. Seat says pathetic. Nick says disgraceful. Hector's just flat out mad. Marcus pathetic. Charles says Burrow. I think that's interesting because the longer the Titans offense wasn't doing anything in the second half, the more opportunity Joe Burrow had to make plays, and he did. Hammer says enlightening. Lot says stupid. Trevor says ref. And again, we've been over that. It's ridiculous if you're going to blame the ref here. Alonzo says damn. Kai says anticlimactic. Ryan with bullied, which is pretty good. Deflated from Steven. Marty says stagnant. Zook says downing. Michael says predictable. A lot of a word punked, detrimental coming in here too. Zach, what is your one word to describe this Titans loss 20-16 to the Bengals?
Outside. The Titans lost this game on the outside. If you look at all the Bengals' big plays, they're on the outside. They were on the sidelines. They were coverage, and this is where Joe Burrow is so good, is he uses that sideline as a shield, right? So it's deflected and incomplete. It's out of bounds, right? He doesn't do a lot of his work in the middle of this field. That's why Jamar Chase is so deadly down the sideline. But on the outside, they had so many huge catches, whether it was T. Higgins, whether it was Irving. I mean, the list goes on, and these are big-time plays that the Titans secondary, who we thought was going to be a lot better because they were healthier, was not. But the outside was, I mean, it was catastrophic at times because those were massive plays, the timing of those. And look, they used their challenge flag. I don't sit here and beat Vrabel up. I think it was just kind of a race to let's see. It was a really close call. They were trying to get up to the line of scrimmage. I'm not hateful on that, but time and time again, the outside for the Bengals wide receivers, especially T. Higgins, who went over 100 yards, burned the Titans DBs.
Yeah, I mean, you could also argue the Titans lost on the inside too when it came to the offensive and defensive line play on both sides of the ball. But yeah, T. Higgins just smoking.
But on those crucial downs, that's
Yeah.
where they picked up the first down, was on the outside. It wasn't on the inside. On the
No,
inside,
I'm talking about the offensive line and defensive line where the Bengals shut down the Titans running game and the Bengals were able to run for 108 yards.
Okay, so you're talking about the Titans inside
Yeah,
offensively.
yeah, when the Bengals inside was greater than the Titans inside, and the Bengals outside was greater than the Titans outside too. I mean, just overall, the Bengals were doing what they wanted to in important moments in that second half. So honestly, this is a hard one word for me to do here because of my one word is going to be opportunity because you lost out on an opportunity. Because of the Kevin Strong penalty, you didn't get to see Todd Downing have a chance to redeem himself. You didn't get to see Ryan Tannehill have an opportunity to redeem himself and drive down to score a touchdown to tie. You did not see any of the offense have that opportunity to tie a game with a touchdown the last 2 minutes to see what could happen because Kevin Strong robbed his team of that by doing something stupid. So opportunity is my one word that I'm going to go with. I don't necessarily love it, but it's the best thing I got here because I feel like I wish I could have seen more. Like I felt like I missed out on an ending where I could have learned something about this team, and we didn't get that because of the penalty there.
Well, and getting a little bit of a read on what the chat is. And look, this is what's going to happen for the rest of the season. And correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't bring up Todd Downing.
They did. They did. Absolutely. Evan Washburn did the report. It was right at the beginning of the Titans' second offensive drive. They came back from commercial break. Evan Washburn did the whole report. He even did it over the 1st and 10 play, and then they went away from it. Yeah, that was it.
So, and the chat is sitting here yelling DUI and drunk and all of these, words that have kind of peppered the Titans throughout the last 10 days, right? And, I just feel like if the Titans lose the rest of the year, Todd Downing is going to be to blame. Like he was to blame earlier, right? The beginning of the year, we saw that, right? And that was because of bad play call. But this wasn't necessarily Todd Downing. He didn't lose this game. Mistakes were made, don't get me wrong. But I don't sit here and I don't criticize and say, well, Todd Downing, like previous games, we sit here and we say, look, Downing was a terrible game. I didn't feel that. Now, we didn't get, as you said, opportunity to see what he could do. But he is now, this is going to be his last year. I just don't see that him surviving. Now, what the fans feel, what we've seen the offense do. But the Traylon Burks, we've seen more downfield throws in the last couple of weeks than we ever have all year. Right?
Zach, I think Todd Downing was absolutely showing his shortcomings in today's game. Zach, Titans were 0-3 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. 0-3. They got there several times. They couldn't finish. And where does Todd Downing struggle the most? Situations like intense situations.
Well, it hasn't been the red zone. They've been the best there.
Yeah. Yes. And then
so that's not you can't say that's where they struggle the most.
Today they struggled. No, where Todd Downing has struggled the most as a Titans play caller is in intense situations where he gaffes something, like the 2nd and 10 play call that lost 5 yards because of a weird play design and a time for that. I don't know why. Or after the Burks big 50-yard catch, what'd they do? Run, incomplete, field goal, right? And it's just really strange in how Todd Downing fails in red zone moments when Derrick Henry can't be relied upon. That's it. It's not red zone scoring overall. It's the red zone when they can't run. And they couldn't run today with Derrick Henry in the red zone, and Todd Downing's play decisions and play calls put them in a spot where they had to settle for field goals.
Well, that's what this offense is. Let's not sit here and be surprised, guys, that when Derrick Henry doesn't work, the offense just runs freely. It doesn't work like that. They don't have the talent. We've established that. When Derrick Henry is taken away, you can't sit here and just pull your hair out and say, why is this offense so bad? Well, they are, because they don't have the talent. We've established that. So I'm not surprised. You got to give credit to the Cincinnati Bengals today for what they did to Derrick Henry. Sure. They did something that not many teams do, and the Titans still had an opportunity to win this football game. There were shortcomings, don't get me wrong. But Austin, I said this at halftime. This is a playoff-type game. This was going to come down to the wire. This was going to be a one-possession football game. The unfortunate part is a bonehead mistake by Kevin Strong Jr. completely ridded them of that. It was set up. We had seen this before. Let's flash back to the Giants game week 1. We saw the drive. We had the opportunity to. It was down the field. They missed the field goal. They lose the game. But because of Kevin Strong Jr., there is one man to blame. One man. No, I'm dead serious. The one guy to blame is the guy that plays special teams, doesn't understand the special teams rules, and bowls the long snapper over. It single-handedly killed the game.
Yes, but the Titans' offense was unable to,
because the Titans' offense isn't very good.
But
last week was a good performance. It was their best performance of the year. But Austin, you and I both knew that was not sustainable. We saw some glimpses. The Traylon Burks down the field. I liked that Traylon Burks is now getting back into it. But this is what this offense represents. They're still run the ball and play good defense.
I know, but
today they didn't do run the ball, play good defense very well.
Yeah, and again, the last couple of the Broncos game, the Titans offense got some things done in the second half with the passing game, but we're seeing the Titans at home go and play and be in games where their offense can't score touchdowns. They didn't score a touchdown against Indianapolis and won that game. Today, they had a fumble recovery touchdown. That was their only score on a 75-yard screen play that got them there. But I feel like the offensive play caller is holding this team back because he fails to have a feel to change in the moment of a game. It's when the Titans are moving the football in the air. They get into the red zone. All 3 times they got into the red zone today was because of what, Zach? It was because of the passing game. They get in the end zone, and then they run it into a steel wall that was DJ Reader and his buddies wearing black and orange stripes.
Because they always fall back to what their identity is.
Right.
Their identity didn't work today.
They get there with the air. They got down there by airing it out to Burks, and then the 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer on, and then they boom, nothing. Punt, field goal. They get down there with a nice play by Tannehill, by Chig, by everybody pushing Chig forward. They set themselves up at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Mike Hilton knew exactly what they were going to do. Run it behind the left guard. He scoops in there, no gain. Then you do the weird thing to lose 5 yards to Hilliard, and now you're just having to save field goal range. And you take yourself out there. And that's because Todd Downing gets stubborn and looks at what got them there and then goes back to something that hadn't been working.
Look, Todd Downing is to blame somewhere for the entire year, but you can't sit there and just resort back to, well, Downing blows, Downing sucks, Downing's terrible. He's the reason. It's like calling the refs the reason why they lost the game. That's not the case. I think Phillip, and he's giving Samson lunch money, but damn it, he's getting the love of the show. Because you're going to have to really take a long, hard look at this Titans football team. And Phillip goes, the Titans are now 0-4. They've lost 4 games against teams with winning records. Okay? Is it fair to say that the Titans are more pretenders than contenders? I think Phillip has a very valid point here. Look at all the teams that they've beaten. They all have losing records.
Mm-hmm.
They have not beaten a team with a winning record. Let me repeat that. The Tennessee Titans have not defeated a team with a winning record. That, I think, is more telling than Todd Downing. It's more telling than anything. They've played good defense and ran the football at times. They played a really good game in prime time against Green Bay. But, man, I think the 4 games that they've lost to the Giants, the Bills, the Chiefs, and today against the Bengals, those are higher quality football teams. I don't want to call the Giants that because I don't believe
But again, Zach, why? Why are they? Yeah, I understand that you're going to pound the table and say lack of offensive talent, lack of offensive talent, lack of offensive talent. But the Titans were in the red zone 3 times in the second half and were failing to execute and failed to do anything to get into the end zone. They could not break through. And Todd Downing, I think, has a lot of blame in that situation. Like when they've lost games, it's because they haven't been able to finish offensively. And the defense is like, what else do you want us to do? Right?
Well, yeah,
we
know what their problem is.
Outside of Buffalo, which we understand that Buffalo was just a buzzsaw.
I'm here to bring up one guy's name that I've been shouting to the rooftops for the last 5 months. Where's Tim Kelly in all this? You sit there and you bring him as a passing coordinator. He's got to have some blame too. If he's coordinating these passing plays, because that's his title. Look, I'm not saying he's product number 1, but the problem with this team is their passing offense, right? Correct? Because when you can't run the ball, you have nothing else. When you can run the ball, you've seen some good things. But what are teams going to do, Austin? They're going to take an example of what we saw today, what the Cincinnati Bengals defense did today, and they are going to try to replicate that in the playoffs.
And again,
22 away.
And again, that's the crazy thing about this game, Zach, is because Ryan Tannehill threw for 291, and he would have probably broken 300 if Kevin Strong did not have that penalty. But again, the passing game was working. The passing game was successful. And you had guys stepping up. I mean, Derrick Henry outside of one catch and a couple nice catches. Traylon Burks, nice day. NWI, Chig made nice plays. Austin Hooper had a solid first half. And so you're making plays in the passing game to get you in the red zone. But then in the red zone, they go back to beating their head up against the wall. That's the problem, is that there is no feel for what needs to happen in a situation from this offensive coordinator. And it's been like that. The Titans, 11 games plus 17 from last year, dang near 39 games. It's the same thing, 29, 30 games that he's called as Titans offensive coordinator. Same problem. It's that they know how to move the football, but in situations when they need the right play call, Todd Downing calls something that's unnecessary. It was unnecessary to run 2nd down and 10 goofy option screen for -5 yards.
Right. But well, that's why I say they got back into a scenario where it was 4th and 5. So like they had they could have chosen to take that and called one play for 5 yards. I think a more aggressive team, and Mike Vrabel notoriously has been aggressive in his in-game coaching decisions, right? But I don't know if he believes, this is a tough decision, because do you believe in a rookie kicker that's already missed a field goal, or is it 4th and 5, and do you try to get the first down and keep the drive alive to tie the football game?
When you're sitting at 3rd and 15, I thought with the play call to NWI down the seam to get it there, I thought that might be hey, let's put ourselves in a chance to go for it. But I'm fine with the 4th and 5 field goal kick because at the time, remember, there was 6 minutes left in the game. Your defense has been playing really, really well for the most part. Trust them to save you again. I'm fine with that. But again, I keep thinking about 3 plays really come to mind, Zach, when I think of this offense stalling because of a weird situational decision by Todd Downing. The first red zone appearance was the slant throw to Jeff Swaim, where Swaim had it go through his hands, and it was a good play call decision, bad personnel, and the Titans.
It was a bad pass too. Ryan Tannehill did not throw a good football.
Sure, but Hooper or Chig catch it. That's what better receivers do. They allow your quarterback to have more margin of error, right? That's what good receivers and pass catchers do. They catch those footballs because it was an open play. So that's one. The other one is,
but that wasn't the play call. That was the right. It was wrong personnel.
Personnel falls under Todd Downing's responsibility.
Well, no, assistant coaches do.
Yeah,
personnel.
no, it's a group effort. Yes.
Yeah. So, but no, let's be honest. Let's tell the truth. That's not just all on Todd Downing. The offensive assistants, they are in control of personnel.
Yes, but again, do you not think?
I think that Swaim should never have been out there.
Let me flip it around. Let me just say this, okay? Todd Downing called that play for Jeff Swaim. You know, you have the ability. You're talking to all your coaches, dude. And if you see the 87s on the field, maybe don't call the direct primary target read to 87. Save that.
So the audible was because of Swaim, though. Like, looking at that play, it appeared to me, and I'd have to watch it back, but the reason why the audible happened where Tannehill turned to Swaim was because the defender was playing off of Swaim so much because he's Jeff Swaim, and that's why they got the opportunity. Bad pass. Swaim, look, should have caught it, could have caught it. That is an argument, right? That's up in the air. But they got what they wanted. It was, if Ryan Tannehill throws a better ball, then I think this is a moot point.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one of the plays. The other one was the 2nd and 5 carried. The back-to-back runs for Derrick Henry just did not work at all today. And like the 12th time they did a back-to-back carry for Derrick Henry, and it got stuffed to put him in a 3rd and 5. Where they had to end up settling for a field goal. And then the 2nd and 15 backwards screen to Hilliard that put him in a bad spot.
Well, Brian brings up this, say the Titans got bullied in the trenches. I definitely think the impact of Ben Jones not being there for the 2nd straight week started to rear its head. Bad start with all the penalties to the game. Like, yes. What do we do? What are you doing there? Like, what's going on? But Ben Jones is missing. And I felt like you saw that today on some penalties and just the interior defensive line of the Bengals getting as much pressure as they did.
Yeah, so Myron asked, where's Tim Kelly? So just to kind of go over that again, Tim Kelly, the passing game coordinator, is not allowed to meet with the media, with the Titans media as a passing game coordinator. It's just not required by the league. And Tim Kelly spends most of practice during the individual portions when the media can watch, working with a tight end. So that's usually where Tim Kelly is at overall. But
so maybe is Tim Kelly to blame for Swaim? I mean, it's assumptions because we don't get a chance to talk.
Well, where was Todd Downing coaching before he became the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, well, I mean, Arthur Smith is the same thing.
I know that's the point. That's also the truth.
But Tim Kelly, look, he was presented as, hey, the offensive passing game needs improving. The Titans said, we are going to bring in Tim Kelly to improve the offensive passing game strategies.
Yes. For play design purposes. Yeah.
Through 11 games, it ain't improved.
I do think in spots it is. It's like, again, Tim Kelly's fingerprints are on the designs of the plays, not the time in which they're being called. Tim Kelly's doing the board work in the offseason.
I think it's unfair to say that because you don't know. You don't ask.
Well, but I also know that Todd Downing's the play caller on game day, and that Tim Kelly doesn't overrule Todd Downing. He is not the offensive coordinator. Tim Kelly's, I think their passing game concepts are better this year than they were last year. Not by much, but again, it all ends with Todd Downing and his decisions in the game. I'm sure Todd Downing's a good coach Wednesday to Saturday or whenever they played and practiced during the week. I'm sure he's a good coach then in installation and all that and everything there. But he has gaffes in games, in situations, and he had a few today in the red zone that ended up being 3 points instead of a touchdown.
Well, Titans lose 20-16 on this Sunday. You're listening to the Barton Insurance Group post-game show here live as we do this each and every week. I think that it's telling, though, and we talked a little bit about it in the pregame show, the Titans have lost some key AFC matchups. They're presumably going to make the playoffs because of how bad the AFC South is. Mm-hmm. But I do think that they're the same football team that we all know and that is pretty untrustworthy, is you don't have the confidence. They're not the 8-2 Kansas City Chiefs, right? By any means. They're not the Bills. I would go to war with the Chiefs and the Bills, right? You feel comfortable with that. The Bengals have had their ups and downs because of their injuries. The Titans were not injured today. Danico Autry was not there, so I will say that. But overall, they had Traylon Burks, they had Hooper, they had Woods, they had Henry, they had Chig. So their offense was there. They had Fulton, they had Hooker, they had Molden, they had Dupree. They had a good amount of their starters today, and they still couldn't get it done and lose by 4 in very disheartening fashion because you don't get the opportunity at the end.
The injuries were big because you had your two of your guys that are your unsung, character, lunch pail type of dudes in Ben Jones and Danico Autry. Those two guys being out makes a significant impact on both of their units because of what they bring from an emotional standpoint. And so that's what they were missing today because they got whooped up front on either side.
Yeah, and Jacksonville, wow.
Well, I believe that's going to be an incomplete pass. There in that touchdown throw from Lawrence. It looks like his hip, he only got 1 foot down before his hip came out of bounds. So I believe that's going to be incomplete. So we'll see what happens there here on our Titan Game Day Live post-game show.
Now, that would shake some things up, and that game is down to the wires, about 19 seconds left, right?
Because it was called a touchdown on the field, but I believe it's going to be overturned based off of not being in bounds with 2 feet. But we'll find out.
Here's the reason why. The Ravens are a 3-loss team. The Bengals now are still a 4-loss team. That brings them back together.
Yeah.
And so now, this is a seeding game. I tell you, this is not a revenge game in Austin. They didn't get any revenge today.
No, they did not.
It wasn't a revenge game. It was a seeding game.
Yeah.
And that now can be impacted even more if the Ravens somehow, and look, they're still up by 7. So,
this Marvin Jones catch, he got 1 foot in twice. And last time I checked, 1 times 2 equals 2. So if that's the count, I don't know if he finished. Looked like there might have been some ball movement after he hit. Did he finish? I don't know. So we'll find out. It's really close, and they're still reviewing it. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I mean, this would be Trevor Lawrence has made some stupid throws, good throws on this last drive to get them in a spot to maybe try to come down here and tie it.
Yeah, and then you get the Rams and the Chiefs going in there. There's a muff pump over there. We got live action all over the NFL.
Yes, A to Z Sports here live. Let's talk about the play of Ryan Tannehill. We do this after every Titans game in our post-game show. We grade the quarterback's performance, whether it's Tannehill or Malik Willis, win or loss. We grade the performance by the Titans QB, brought to you by Crumble Cookies. There's always a Crumble Cookies near you. And if there's not, they deliver to you because it's pretty easy. You can use Crumble Cookies in a lot of different ways, whether it's in-store, takeout, delivery, curbside pickup, nationwide shipping. And it's almost the holiday season. And Zach, I don't know where you're at with your holiday shopping from last week, but Crumble Cookies can help you get there because if you need that extra something for that person you love to take the gift selection over the top, a Crumble Cookie gift card is a great addition to that. So download the Crumble Cookies app, find the nearest Crumble to you, and use them there. Crumble Cookies app, download it to your phone today. Here we're going to grade Ryan Tannehill's performance, and it was called a touchdown by Marvin Jones. So that's that, and an extra point could tie the game for the Jags. We'll see if they decide to go for 2 here, Zach, as we navigate our way through this post-game show after the Titans loss.
Yeah, this post-game show is brought to you by Barton Insurance Group. Don't forget that. They're a great title sponsor. Plus, they'll hook you up. So will Crumble. That's where these grades are at. The grades, if you look at the chat, they are all over the board. You got Jacob with a D, Jared with a C, SCP with a B, B- from ABNTX. Kai says B+, A- from Jay Woods. Trey from B+, Dreamer B-, D- from Frankie. Dreamer, again, man, Dreamer's now just, I think he's got too many comments coming in. Lane says B+, Daniel with a B, Jared with a C, Rick says C-, Tammy goes C, A- from Jay Woods. Timothy says B. Let's see. We says C. Lucas also says C. C+ from Hammer. Jonathan goes B. Rick goes C-. Joseph says C. D+ from Mr. Clean with a K. Jacob goes B. So all over the board, we've got D's, we've got C's, we've got B's.
Yeah, I've seen an F in there too. LeVar Jeffries gives Ryan Tannehill an F. I don't know how you can give Ryan Tannehill an F. Again, his numbers 22 of 34, threw for 291. Did not throw a touchdown because Derrick Henry fumbled. Did not have a turnover. He was only sacked one time. He also ran the ball twice gutsily and gained 9 yards there. And the Jags complete and convert the 2 points to take a 1-point lead over the Ravens with 14 seconds left. Crazy there in Jacksonville. But I think Ryan Tannehill for me, Zach, this is a B grade because I thought he played well. And we see Ryan Tannehill still laboring through the ankle injury that he's had now for over a month since that Colts game. He's still working through that. And I feel like Tannehill made big throws, especially late in the second quarter, leading to the missed field goal by Shudak. He made big throws down the field to Burks a couple times. He ran and showed guts. I just think there was a couple throws that were slightly off target that I thought, if were accurate, could have changed that game, including a third down red zone throw to Chig where he hit him in his backside ear hole. And if it was in his front side ear hole, Chig at least catches and converts for a first down, potentially scores. So I do have to knock Tannehill for that. So I say B grade for Ryan Tannehill in this game today, in a losing effort. You know, he could have had a chance to come down.
Yeah, well, that's why I want to say E.
Yeah,
because it truly is an incomplete.
That would be I.
Or I. I mean, you just don't get the full effect, you know? Yeah. A dumb call, we didn't get that. And I think that's the struggle for me is Tannehill will be defined by that drive, right?
Yeah, that's why my word was opportunity, because if Kevin Strong, let me just say this, correct penalty call, stupid decision, and stupid play by Kevin Strong to have the penalty that ends the game. But yeah, it robs the offense. It robs Tannehill, Todd Downing. All of those guys had a great opportunity to go down to tie. And Kevin Strong took it away from them by making that stupid penalty. I would, and I correct myself, I would go I, but I think probably B- with the opportunity for him to either go to the C range if he fails on that drive, or climb up to a B+ if he drives down and ties the game, right? So, but this is an incomplete performance because you're defined based on a drive that you never got an opportunity to drive. And we have no idea what would have happened or might have happened if the Titans did get that opportunity. It looks like Justin Tucker is going to attempt for the Ravens. There's 2 seconds left. Justin Tucker and the Ravens are lining up for a 67-yard field goal attempt in Jacksonville. This is ridiculous. This is Tucker. This is Justin Tucker. And it's up, and it looks really good. It's just short. I'm behind. I got 3 TVs going on my computer behind this broadcast, and I'm behind. But no good. No good. It was short. And the Jags are now 4-7. The Ravens are now 7-4. So for the time, well, I don't know if that bumps Cincinnati over Baltimore. No. Baltimore has beaten Cincinnati earlier this season. So, but that keeps the Titans in that 3 spot. Let's see. Justin Tucker was probably 8 yards short. I mean, it was considerably short. It was not a good kick by Tucker. He's had better connections than that. It was significantly short. Never had a chance. But after but watching it from front on, I could understand why you thought the way that you thought. Yeah. If you watch it from the back end zone camera, it looked good, but no, it was very short. So
That's
yeah,
a
I mean,
tough ask from John Harbaugh.
I thought they should have gone to the end zone. I also had Ravens -2.5 in a parlay, so a touchdown there would have been great for me. But that's out the window too. So yeah, the Jags, they're now still hanging around, and the Titans have a couple big matchups with Jacksonville later on this season, where the AFC South feels very comfortably Tennessee's, but if Jacksonville can turn this win over Baltimore into something, then maybe they can threaten a little bit with 2 games against Tennessee later on.
Yeah, and you look at Jacksonville's schedule, as you said, they still got to play the Titans twice. They play the Lions, and the Lions play well, but lost that close one on Thanksgiving. They've got the Texans still to come. So, who knows what the Jags can be, and who knows what that last final Week 18 matchup will represent. But this is a seeding game because, like I said, it now pulls the Ravens and the Bengals to 4-4. And if the Bengals win the AFC North and the Titans win the AFC South, that's the difference.
Yeah, it is.
And now the Titans have to face a tougher opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you're going to either be faced with? Probably the Bills or the Dolphins.
Oh, I mean, that's why I said last week that I was starting to pay attention to the AFC wildcard race.
Well, this game was impactful.
Yeah.
If you beat the Bengals, you don't need to.
Well, I mean, you still do, because
no, you don't, because the Ravens would have been that much more further ahead, right? Before this weekend. Now what happened. Now it shakes things up. But that was the different. Like the Ravens, as I told you the pregame, they don't play a winning football team until the Bengals in Week 18.
Yeah,
this Jags loss is impactful to them, and it's impactful to the entire AFC now.
Absolutely. And Gino, the way for us to read your comment is to not copy and paste it 25 times in a row. So you can stop with that, nonsense that you have on YouTube there, Gino. But again, something we'll have to continue to look for is what goes on with Todd Downing and the league. What happens with that investigation as it goes. But is this flat out sucks for the Titans because you thought they had a chance to do something, and the loss by the Ravens makes it even worse there too. So I kind of, I don't know, Zach, you got anything else to add here before we wrap up this post-game show?
Well, the Titans are on the verge of possibly a 2-game skid because they play the best team in the NFL in the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly next week.
The best record in the NFL. I don't know who the best team is, but the best record in the NFL, the Eagles.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. And the Eagles still got to play the Packers this week, so that could change.
All right, so that'll do it for us for our Titan post-game show presented by Barton Insurance Group. They are Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal, home, and auto coverage, plus small to mid-sized businesses. Barton Insurance Group, LLC.com. Also appreciate all of our great sponsors for Titan Game Day, including Mr. Goodroof, MrGoodroof.com. They are giving away a free roof to a veteran in Sumner County. So go to MrGoodroof.com to nominate a veteran in Sumner County for a free roof this holiday season for Shingle Bells. Also, Buddy Allen Carpet One, Buddy Allen Carpet One, Nashville.com, Crumble Cookies, and the BetMGM app. Zach, that'll do it for us. Still to come tonight, A to Z Sports Primetime. Buck Rising wrapping up his coverage from Nissan Stadium. He'll be live around 8 o'clock Central Time tonight on these same channels. And then Zach and I'll be back tomorrow morning on A to Z Sports at 8 a.m. Central to react more. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your football Sunday. We'll see you soon. Appreciate it as always.